Good day, Zimbabweans in the nation and around the world. Joining us live here on zimi.com. If you're coming in right now, do let us know which part of Zimbabwe you're logging in from or which part of the world it is. Type in the comment box right there. And our viewers, readers, and listeners, we are here for news review. We shall be exploring the top and trending stories from in and around Zimbabwe. And as we begin right now, do press the share button. Good day, Zimbabweans in the nation and around the world. Joining us live here on zimi.com. If you're coming in right now, do let us know which part of Zimbabwe you're logging in from or which part of the world it is. Type in the comment box right there. And our viewers, readers, and listeners, we are here for news review. We shall be exploring the top and trending stories from in and around Zimbabwe. And as we begin right now, do press the share button. Well, here we are, viewers. If you can hear the sound of my voice here, do let me know where you're logging in from. Just type in the comment box right there. Today is Tuesday, the 18th of June. And type in the comment box right there, by the way, and let us know where you're logging in from. I'm wondering if people can hear me. If you are struggling with either the picture or the sound, just let us know. I'll also try and put a microphone so that maybe my vocal projection is better. Please let me know if I should increase my volume or maybe put a microphone on there. And let me just see for people here. Okay, people watching from Cape Town, United States. United States must be early morning right now, right? Whoa, great. The great United States, the US of A. I'm just going to put a microphone here so that people can hear me a little bit better. Just trying to amplify the sound here. So here we are. I'll try and make my volume a wee bit better. I'm hoping that Vito says they can hear me, but I need you to know, I need to know if my sound has improved. Kutiyazo improve ere. Okay, someone is saying no sound. No sound at all. Oh dear. Okay. Yadzoka, has the sound come back now? Has the sound come back now? Please let me know. Please let me know if the sound has come back. Okay, thank you very much of yours, witnesses. Thank you. Well, quickly here, people watching from South Africa and other parts of the world. Yes, of yours, witnesses. Just a few stories here that we are here for to briefly discuss. Okay, here we go. Someone is saying, when? What exactly, Ludo Dube? What are you asking about there? Okay, thank you. Well, this is your news network, ZimI, and I'm Simba Chikanza, just joining you right now to briefly discuss what's happening in our country and around the world, and particularly here, the latest revelations. So quickly. Well, thank you very much. Loud and clear from Walvis Bay, Namibia. So there's a group of Zimbabweans over there yonder in Namibia who have been rounded up by the authorities. And these are Zimbabweans who relatives contacted us a few days ago. And we were reliably told and informed that these Zimbabweans had right to stay in Namibia, and yet the authorities in Namibia locked them up together and detained them, and they were struggling over the weekend. We tried our best to highlight their plight here and there, and to link between with them and the authorities. Unfortunately, they are now being sent back. We're told um, in over 24 hours or so, they will be they'll be sent back to Zimbabwe. Our family relative told us that they are happy that this is happening. They feel that this is a breakthrough because they were worried that the situation means that they have to stay in detention. And these Zimbabweans, we were informed these Zimbabweans have had right to stay, right to they had all their papers to reside in Namibia, and yet the Namibian authorities have done this to them. I've had a few discussions here and there between the relatives and the authorities, and I can say that I am shocked that it is shocking that the Zimbabwe authorities allowed the Namibians to ill-treat Zimbabwean citizens. There are things that we have seen over the years, embassies of other countries doing for their citizens. Like right now, if these were Canadian, US, so American or British citizens who have been put into detention, the British diplomats will be there physically. Manotoshikai popo, wait a noise, or they will waiver what is called a diplomatic immunity for their citizens. Manot Iowa, we are kuna kwanoenda uyu. They were to protection. So they give diplomatic protection to their citizens. How many have seen that happening? I have. I've seen it happening. I mean, it's all over, even on the internet. When an American citizen is arrested or detained, let's say in the Philippines or whatever, a diplomat from the embassy, or even the actual ambassador, will come there. I had a situation where a Zimbabwean told me a Zimbabwean got arrested in South Africa. Hear me, Zimbabweans. A Zimbabwean got arrested in South Africa and was in prison in South Africa. And I vividly remember this Zimbabwean narrating this ordeal to me. And he said to me, look, folks, I was arrested in South Africa. I was in a prison. But because I had a US passport, an American passport, the American ambassador came. Excuse me, it was a diplomat. I'm not sure if it was an ambassador or it was a diplomat, but came and physically intervened. Physically intervened. So quickly, I want to say that this seemed to suggest that the 80 Zimbabweans who are being deported in 24 hours could have received better. Someone is saying there that I should Anzi usati we talk too much usati wataura nyaya yako. I don't know kuti muda nditi chii mukaenda pazim. If you go on Zima right now, there's a story about 80 Zimbabweans who are in Namibia who've been detained and they are being deported, and that is the story. You can read the full context, the full text, and the full context there. What I'm giving you now is more than just that. It is my engagement with you. So andisi news reader, andisi Joseph Madimba inini, ndirisimba chikanza, ndikuengage. I hope your help there, Simon. So basically, this is how other embassies of other countries treat their citizens. They've tended not to allow. I hope your help there, Simon. They will not have a situation where their citizens are abused by the host country where they are. Am I the only person who has seen that in the Ashwan and again? Right. So quickly, let's move on. More stories here. There's a group of CCC members who got arrested, and they were holding a meeting, and they include the current CCC default leader, who is Jameson Timber. And there's an emotional video that has popped out that is on various publications, and it is of a mother who is walking out of the Harare Magistrates Court, and she is crying because she has been assaulted while simply entering the Magistrates Court. Now, that's a story for another day. I want to go into the main topic here, and I've got people asking me already in the comment section. They want to hear about Wicknell. What we hear about Wicknell, I will tell you because I have been talking with Wicknell. I've not been talking on one instance. I've been talking with Wicknell on multiple instances. This person, I've been talking Dripa Kona Ioyo. Dripa Kona Ioyo. Okay, so Dr. Musia, tag someone. By the way, also invite Wicknell Chivayo here. Munze Panapap. Okay. And you should ask Wicknell Chivayo quickly. Ask him that does he deny that he has been getting consultancy services? Wicknell Chivayo has been getting consultancy services to build a false claim that the audios that have been uploaded were artificial intelligence generated. Can someone tag the young man? Anorambaere. Right now, my videos. Achitaura here. Ne with right quickly. Ne my experts varikumubatsira to construct a false claim to cover up the damning money laundering allegation, the evidence that has been offloaded. Saka ichichi. I'm gonna get there quickly. Right now, I've got it. Okay. Dinaro video right. Okay. And so quickly. I hope someone is tagging. Yeah, you're tagging the young man. He was for a very long time harassing a lot of people. He was harassing even the elderly Thomas Mukanya, Thomas Mafumo, for a lengthy period of time, claiming he is so moneyed that he would give Thomas Mafumo money and cars and a house and all that if he comes back to Zimbabwe. How many heard that? Okay, so quickly, let me go straight here. What happens? What happens to Wicknell Chivayo? Wicknell Chivayo atiza kunyika ya mambo kadzi. No. Ya murume kadzi. Murume, sorry. Ya mambo rume, rather, sorry. Atiza kunyika ya mambo rume charity. What's going on? Right, I know some people asking me there to give them an update, and I know these are predominantly women were asking me to give them an update on my TT. I will give you update my TT later on. For now, okay. So Wicknell is in hmm, well, yeah, I know I do have an update on my TT. Just 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Right. So quickly, it's an interesting day here. Uh, okay. So quickly, I have evidence that Wicknell Chivayo. I have evidence. Anzi ati chanzo aya makundinzwa ingwani makundinzwa ka voice rangu makurinzwa mamungati amungafuni sei mimi voice rangu muchirinzwa. Right. Okay. Can you hear my voice? Murukurinzwa ere voice rangu makurinzwa. Can you now hear my voice? Okay, I'm sure people can now hear me. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Manje Hunate. Thank you. So quickly, eh, what has happened kuna Wicknell? Right. Number one, Wicknell, atiza ku Britain. No, 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 did it wrong. I want to get you get you to get this right. Wicknell atizi swaku Britain. Atizi swaku UK. Chi, chirikuitika ku UK. Ku UK, ane ma properties. He's got properties in the UK. And why is he there? Someone would say, ask it. Why is he there? And yesterday we saw a video of the ZACC prosecutor, the ZAC prosecutor, who is Michael Reza, announcing to the people of Zimbabwe that they are now going to do a credible investigation. Did you watch that video? Did you watch that video of Wicknell Chivayo saying so? Why did he say this? Excuse me. Why did Michael Reza say this? In between Michael Reza's words, if people can hear, I'm hoping that I'll be able to play the video here, is a very, very clear projection. A man who is a legendary prosecutor in the country, number one. Number two, who is also the chief investigator of corruption in the country, announcing to the people of Zimbabwe that they're now going to do an investigation. But in between his words, there is this subtle but very, very sharp, very, very loud emphasis on exposing, excuse me, on victimizing Mike Chimombe and Moses Mpofu over what they allegedly did, what Zach accuses them of doing, and that is of exposing Wicknell Chivayo. What's going on? Now, there is a euphoria and excitement around Wicknell Chivayo the embarrassment that he's getting, and ZANU-PF appears to be, for the first time, very determined, very focused on ensuring that they restore the dignity that Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa, the head of ZANU-PF, has been exposed or has been reduced of. But what's going on? Will Wicknell Chivayo ever be prosecuted? Will he ever be arrested? Will he ever be humiliated properly? I mean, I'm talking about really humiliated here over those disclosures. What did he say that or do that would give rise to ZANU-PF, or in this case, the state, exposing him? The way that people see Wicknell Chivayo's current status differs between the masses and those who are closer to state power. How quickly? I will give you the version of those who are in state power, what they think, what they see. I'm talking about those who are really, really close. Vari pedo chaipo pedo. Emasimba, ehurumende. What do they think? What do they see? What will happen to Wicknell Chivayo? Will he be arrested quickly? I will tell you right now, arrested for what? Wicknell Chivayo, in the ZANU-PF books, cannot be arrested. In ZANU-PF books, in the masses, in those who are seeking law and order and the observance thereof, he must be arrested. And in those who are in the lower ranks of ZANU-PF, who say Mnangagwa has been brought into contempt, he must be arrested, he must be exposed. Someone is saying here, President vanonyanya okutamba nemarara vari kubviswa chiremerera nana pombi. And I believe Tilly Bush there was writing, is someone from ZANU-PF or someone who's close to ZANU-PF, is saying Mnangagwa ari kubviswa chiremerera. Mnangagwa is being reduced of the respect that he has. But alas, if you're taking notes, you could write this down if you want. What respect does Mnangagwa have? Number one, what respect does Mnangagwa have? The statements that you have heard in those audios, what is it in those audios and in those documents of Wicknell Chivayo that is even close to the things uttered in public by Emerson Mnangagwa for 44 years? Those who are saying, quickly, those people who say that there is something really embarrassing that has happened to Emerson Mnangagwa as a result of Wicknell Chivayo, lift your hands. Murikupi, I will invite you. I can even put here a link. I apologize, I'm on the outskirts here and it looks like it's kind of starting to rain. I'll try to get inside maybe. Ndati nini? Avo vari kutaura kuti hanzi pane chinoshamisira chaitwa na Chivayo. My apologies, folks. My sincere apologies. Oh dear. My battery is now cracked. Sorry, not my battery, but there's rain here. I'll try to protect myself so that I can do my session without hindrance. Isinganaiwe camera yangu hii. Okay, I'm hoping that people can hear me now. So, those who are saying that Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa has been humiliated, he has been debased, and unfairly so, by the ongoing money laundering revelations. And he should stop associating with characters that are of the nature of this businessman. Lift your hands, all of you who say, like some observers here, that Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa, his reputation has been brought to contempt or brought into contempt. Lift your hands, because I will show you with multiple evidence for over 45 years that the words that have been uttered in these audios are not even the tip of an iceberg of the statements plus the actions that have been uttered by the very same individual who you are saying is the president for over 45 years to date. Publicly stated so. I am addressing those groups of citizens who genuinely feel and fervently so that something new has been uttered by this convicted money launderer. You heard what he said in Shona, that he has captured the state and that he has captured the president. Akashitaura akati ndakachita kuti G chinhu ichichi, ndakachibata iye Mnangagwa, ndakachibata nepamutsipa kuti G. And that means I have practically done a coup on the state, on the institutions of this country. Now, this is the first time to those who are young and have not been around to see what has been said, what has been done over the last half a century. And I will go back to 1976 and I will show with evidence that what has been uttered by this businessman is nothing compared to what the man that people of this country are calling president has uttered, and furthermore has done for over a half of a century. Since 1980, this man who is called Mnangagwa, he wanted to kill the president. And he told the president, soon after elections, go to Mozambique, go to Mozambique. The whites want to kill you. At that time, he had arranged with the whites to do a coup on the president. So he told the president, go to Mozambique. Indai ku Mozambique, ipapo anga atoronga nearungu aida kuita coup uyu. Ndoda kukuudzai maZimbabweans, ndoda kukuudzai maZimbabweans kuti munhu uyu anonzi Mnangagwa uyu aida kuita coup, aida kuita coup. Tag Mrs. Grace Mugabe, vatagei Mai Mugabe panapa, vauye panapa. Ndo akaburitsa V11 iri. Aida kuraya president kubva muna 1980. Kubva muna 1980 uyu. Mashero akati, rapid, go back home. Chii chaangaita kuna president. Akanga aita president kuti chi. Akachibata chimugabe kuti chi. Kubva muna 1980 akanga akachibata kuti chi. Munhu anonzi Mnangagwa uyu. Hatisati tapedza. Right. Pataura 1980. In 2008, nemuromo wake, let's just assume Grace Mugabe was lying, folks, right? Okay. Let us just assume that Grace Mugabe was lying when she. Let us just assume that Mrs. Grace Mugabe was lying, that she was falsifying an historic record. Let's fast forward. 28 years later, in 2008, the man himself speaks with his own mouth that he had captured the president himself. He says it himself, that he had captured the president even by 2008, such that he did magic for the president. He performed some magic for the president. Mnangagwa, Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa, did some magic for the president that even the Central Intelligence Organization could not do, such that he called the minister of the Central Intelligence Organization, who had packed his bags and had already relocated to his rural home. Ndakavafonera inini, he says, Didmas Mtas anga atopeka mabags ake. CIO minister anga apeka mabags ake. Now, in 2008, people should get this. In 2008, Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa gave the president what Wicknell Chivayo has given the current president, and that is election results that are faked. I hope people are getting this. I hope people are getting this. In 2008, Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa gave the president what Wicknell Chivayo has given the current president, and that is fake election results, working hand in hand with the Central Intelligence Organization. And that is exactly what Zimbabweans are hearing in those audios. In those leaked audios, Zimbabweans are hearing it announced that this convicted money launderer has delivered to the current president, working hand in hand with the Director General of the Central Intelligence Organization, fake election results. And he states it that he has captured the president in exactly the same way that Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa boasts of what he did in 2008, that he called father and mother, come here. You might have lost, but even your opponent in the MDC did not get 50%. So I will give you the election results. I will issue you the election results myself. These are the results that I dictate to you. Take it. Take it. I am giving you. The Central Intelligence Organization will not give you these results. I am delivering to you these results. So, Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa played a Wicknell Chivayo. In 2008, a role that no one has ever played of delivering election results. Yes, he might have stolen money, but that money was stolen for the purpose of issuing fake results. And the money, by the way, some Zimbabweans didn't know, was even budgeted for. Hubert Anjo talked about that money. It's just a fraction. He talked about 240 million if people watched in the Gold Mafia documentary. Wicklow only looted, as is being shown in the documents, an inflated 8 up to 40 million. That 40 million might look inflated, but it was budgeted for. It is money that was laundered. The most important thing to Mnangagwa is the election results. Everything else is povo drama. It's what you people, what the public are angry about. But My apologies, folks. I got cut off there. No. Aina kupera. Aina kupera. Okay, my apologies. My apologies. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Right. Can you hear me? Please let me know. Can you hear me? Okay. Right. So, Ndatini, I said, I'm hoping that people can hear me now. So, what Wicknell Chivayo has given Emerson Mnangagwa and what he has done at present is exactly what Emerson Mnangagwa gave Robert Mugabe in 2008. Wicknell Chivayo has delivered fake election results working hand in hand with Priscilla Chigumba. And the stealing of the money to them, to Mnangagwa, it's a perfect design. You've got to steal the money, chop the money, and any grievances around the money, they must be killed at harvest time. I'm using Mnangagwa's own words. Zvichemo zvese zvinouya zvinofanira kufira paharvest house. Paharvest house ndo pazvinofanira kufira. Ndokushandisa mashoko ake iye mbune anoitwa Emerson Mnangagwa. So yeah, this whole analogy here, I'm hoping that people can see how I've tried to ensure that there's no opinion of mine. I'm just bringing out statements and incidents word for word for over 45 years, one by line by line. Okay. Hapana chinhu chandifana kuwedzera panapa. Mukaona paine anything, if there's any sentence, any dot, any comma that I've added or edited here in what I'm delivering to you, please scream out, because I must be fired. I must stop journalism, because the events, they are so clear. They are so clear. This statement, yekuti kuti GE, ndakachibata kuti G. I've heard it. I've heard it in my ears before Wicknell said it. I've heard it for years before Wicknell said it. I've heard worse than kuti G. Ndakachibata kuti G. President, ndakachibata kuti G. I've heard that for years. Kubva muna 1980 ndoda kudzidzisai maZimbabweans kuti kubva muna 1980 munhu uyu anonzi Mnangagwa uyu, maelections apera, aida kuuraya president, akaudza president kuti kwirai ndege indai kuMozambique, uda kuraiwa nevarungu. Akanga akachiti G kubvira muna 1980. Haana kuri kuti G chete. Mukuwasha wake anonzi Josiah Tongogara akamuendesa iye yuyu Emerson uyu Emerson uyu akaendesa mukuwasha wake kuMozambique, akanofira ikoko. Akanga akachiti G musi wa 26 December 1979. Uyu maelections apera muna March 2, 1980. Akati kuna president, muda kuraiwa nevarungu. President akateerera munhu anonzi Emerson, munhu one anonzi Emerson. According to some war veterans, by the way, some press statements that have been done in the country, Mnangagwa is in fact a Rhodesian mercenary. Someone is saying here, Tungar Avetejara, that's right. EDIM Kwash, absolutely. Saka, tauti muzive kuti kuchiti G, ndakachiti G. Zvaizvozvoka, izvozvo ndiri kuda kuratidza 45 years of history. Kuti hapana chinyuwani apa, hapana Mnangagwa haana kana kutombo, hazvina kana kutombomumovha zvekuti heji zviri kutongoexcita imimi. Asi kuna Mnangagwa nekwatiri isusu vanoziva chinhu ichinji. Hapana chinoshamisira pane kuti G. Hapana chinoshamisira. Wicknell Chivayo uyu hapana chinyuwani chaaita apapo. Wicknell Chivayo ipapa kana achiti akachita G, akazvishuwa akachotochita G chinhu ichi. So what I'm seeing going to happen here, would you want me to finish that in 2008 because they're 2017 tiri kukwira kusvika pazoitwa coup Mnangagwa akademonstrata all the time kuti anga akachiti G. Now I want to tell you, Zimbabweans, tag someone. I'm going to give you some secrets here. You have never talked to the first family. I have. I do. Ndotaura nawo directly. Mazvinzwa? Ndakuudzai. Ndakasema nemamwe pana majournalists vanondicriticize, hey Simba yakazodai, hey Simba fake news. Iwewe wati wambotaura nawe here first family. Ini ndakataura nawe ni. Ndotaura nawe. And handitaura nawo nchacho kuti hey his excellency hey wetoti aiwa. Ndotaura nawo vachinditya. Vachitodedera kutodedera so. So now could it say Zimbabweans right now quickly? I'm hoping you're listening to me. I have conversed with the first family. I've conversed with ED. I've conversed with his wife. Listen to me. Kwete zvekure zvepa social media kana kuti zvokuona pa TV directly. My statements amuri kunzwa aya, the type of wording yamuri kunzwa aya ya Wicknell aya, the syntax, the wording, the type of construction, I'm talking about the layout of the conversation. Iri kutaura Wicknell aya is exactly Auxilia. It's exactly Emerson. That's how they talk. That is exactly all right. Okay, if you say no, Simba Rotivara, and then go and watch the video of Mnangagwa with Vladimir Putin. That video, put the text and put it online, put it on a screen on a paper like this, and then print out what Wicknell Chivayo says. Put this, what Mnangagwa says, and then put what Wicknell Chivayo says. One thing that you're going to notice is that these two people, they are saying the same thing and their conversations are exactly similar. The way they speak, their ideas, their pictures, their wordings, the tone of voice, the fluctuations, even the musical tones. What I mean by musical tones, I'm talking about the infractions in the vocal elasticity. It's exactly the same. Exactly the same. That mean to those that tora video Ramnangagwa ashtora na Putin motora audio ya Wicknell, and tell me if you can hear any difference. So quickly, we're talking about power here. We're talking about state power, by the way, and how things unfold. A lot of people who are inside ZANU-PF have no clue of what this is. They actually think that something extremely humiliating or embarrassing is going to happen to Wicknell. I can tell you right now, hakuna chinhu chiri kuzoitika kuna Wicknell. Munoramba here. Ndinotokuudzai. Why? Because hapana chinhu chaaita chaakanganisa kuZANU-PF in there. Excuse me, not kuZANU. Kuna Mnangagwa in his eyes. There's nothing. The person who has messed up is Moses Mpofu and Chimombe. Sorry. Mpofu and Chimom. They are the ones who have done wrong. Because what they did in Mnangagwa's eyes and ears, they have violated the code of secrecy in the mafia, in their culture, in their cult. You're not supposed to say, you're not supposed to leak those things that they said. And like Wicknell said there, if you have failed to eat, wait for your turn to eat. You don't have table manners. In Mnangagwa's eyes, the cow, Chumombe, does not have table manners. So that is what it is. There is nothing that's going to happen to Wicknell. And if there's anything that will happen to him, I see it will be promotion. Because in Mnangagwa's eyes, Wicknell has actually done extremely well. He has done better than any ZANU-PF member. He has done better than the entire Central Intelligence Organization by stealing and hiding that stealing. The people who have divulged details of that stealing to Mnangagwa's way of seeing things are the ones who have broken the law. How people are getting this. Should it make sense? Should it make sense? Do you want me to continue? Do you want me to stop? Some people would say, Simba, ndakupai zviri live and direct. Is this helping? Please let me know. I'm going to take a 30-minute pause, 30-second pause. Right. So, thank you very much for the feedback. So, quickly, if anyone feels that I should stop, if you feel that, well, Simba Chikanza, we're tired of you, you keep telling us things here, you keep piling ideas and things, and you're not happy with my analysis or presentation, please type in the comment box. Then I will stop. Then I will stop. Ndobva ndangositopa. Ndobva ndangositopa. Ndobva ndanofudza mombe. Ndonochengeta mhuri yangu nokuti hazvibatsirika. Kana information yandiri kupa inini yandaresearcha. Yandatora makore ndichiresearcha. Kuti ndisvike pandiri panapa. Kana isinga make sense. If it is noise, then I might as well stop. Sheila Banda is saying it is Zopa BP. Yeah, well, I know how it feels, but I've got to tell you the truth. I don't want to make you feel happy. I've got to inform you. I shouldn't make you feel. Okay. So quickly, Zimbabweans. Someone is saying, yeah, Simba Famba Usamira. I hope I've given you 45 years. What more? Do you want me to give you more years? Because I want to go to the most important part now. The most important part. The most important part of my presentation. Do you still want me to give you more evidence that Wicknell Chivayo statement is not new? Or you now want me to jump to this is the most exciting part. I'm feeling excitement jump next level next level. You allow me to give me permission to go to the next level? Or you still want me to give you more examples of Kuchiti Nakupai up to 2008, up to 2015, up to 2017. Later on, you also see a video of Mnangagwa saying that this is him boasting. We are the army. We are the police. We are everything you can imagine. You cannot do anything. You cannot do mining in Zimbabwe without ZANU-PF, without me, without us. There is no one who can do mining in Zimbabwe. We are everything that you can imagine. And he's saying this in Norton at Themba Mliswa's rally campaign. It was. No, sorry, it was anti-Themba Mliswa rally campaign. I think at the time Themba Mliswa was in the opposite. But he revealed there that he himself, Akachiti G, there is no one who can do mining in Zimbabwe without ZANU-PF, without me. Akachiti G, that was in 2015, sorry, 2015, that video is color video of Mnangagwa. So he's saying it. Ndakachiti G. Iye Mnangagwa wacho. 2015. The very same year. In that very same year. 3 high-profile money launderers. Self-confessing money launderers. One called Shepard Bushiri, one called Hubert Anjo, and one who is convicted called Wicknell Chivayo. They have a meeting. And Wicknell Chivayo says that he has been given a prophecy that he's going to get into money, into a lot of money and power. And around that time, Wicknell Chivayo has also announced that one day he will be vice president of the country. That was in 2013. It was. In 2013 and 2015. So Wicknell Chivayo, Hubert Anjo, and Shepard Bushiri start planning. In the space of just under 5 years, Hubert Anjo and Shepard Bushiri now have diplomatic passports of Zambia, Malawi. Shepard Bushiri has passports of diplomatic of Zambia and Malawi. Hubert Anjo has a diplomatic passport of Zimbabwe by 2021. And I am reliably told, I don't have evidence, but I'm reliably told that Wicknell Chivayo also has a diplomatic passport. And that's why he passes through UK, in and out of UK and various other countries. Akachiti G. You might not like it, but you've got to understand how ZANU-PF operates. Because you have your version of events. You have your belief there, you have your expectations and your demands. But ZANU-PF has its own way of doing things. You need to know them, their strengths and their weaknesses. Don't just get excited. Ziva pavari successful nepavanozotadza, so that unozoziva kuti tambo unoidzipura sei ndopanoda kuzikanwa ipapapa. Haikona kungoita excited. Some of you Zimbabweans spent the last 4 years muchingonzi demloot. Zvanga zvingori my excitement. That was manufactured excitement around so-called anti-corruption, which was not even anti-corruption. You were actually supporting someone who was working for Vice President Chiwenga, who was working for the military, claiming that he is exposing any corruption when there was absolutely nothing that was being exposed. So, can I go straight in here? Let me go straight in. How can ZANU-PF be dealt with now? How can this wrongdoing be dealt with? The most, hear me, Zimbabweans. I feel like burning here. The most insightful development right now is that today, like Emerson Mnangagwa entered South Africa, the wrongdoing of money laundering, of election rigging in Zimbabwe has been done outside Zimbabwe. It's been done in a country. And in a country that has institutions that can now prosecute this man, Emerson Mnangagwa. I watched that picture and I saw how the president's department announced that picture, the entry of Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa into South Africa. And he's so confident. To him, he's very, very confident. He gets in there. And he appears as if nothing has happened and nothing will happen. Money laundering, ipapa. Madata rakataurwa irori maZimbabweans. Musabe ipapo. And don't be distracted into this whole thing. Moses Mpofu, Chimombe, Mike Chimombe. It's nonsense. It's utter rubbish. If anyone announces that, delete. If I were you, I'm just telling you, when Zach mentions Moses Mpofu and Mike Chimombe at any time, delete. If it is a live video, exit and ignore. Drukubaima strategies. Right? And Shandisa. Anything that mentions, that tries to change the focus of this expose, of this bomba raputika rega iri, of this sports arkuputika ega ai, into accusing Mike Chimombe or Moses of Mpofu, delete and don't even watch. If it is a live video, don't even watch. If it is news, if it is on ZBC, switch off your television at that time. If you're watching ZBC, sorry, even SABC or BBC or whatever, whenever Mike Chimombe or Moses Mpofu is mentioned by Zach or accused by Zach, okay? And as long as these people mention Moses Mpofu or Mike Chimombe, delete, totally ignore. Muronzisa kana paine nzira yekuti chinhu ichochiye kana kuti chiri chibuilding munogona kungochidonedza kungochidzipura. Muronzisa metaphorically ngachidzipurwe, ignore, delete, because pane power renyu maZimbabweans ndo pane macharges emoney laundering ipapo. I hope people are hearing me. I'm going to try and just change a few settings here. Natini, I hope people are hearing me. I said, kune simba rekuchipedza masports right now. Ndakuti muzive maZimbabweans, Mnangagwa haanetsi kudhila naye. Muri kundinzwa? Hapana any special thing yakudiwa kudhila naMnangagwa iko zvino. You don't even need a catapult to deal with Mnangagwa anymore, or to deal with this wrongdoing anymore. You don't need. What you now need is direction, is strategy, is focus. Focus on the money. Focus on the money. Ignore any accusation against Mike Chimombe or Mpofu or Moses Mpofu. Anyone arungo accuse chete mungangonzwa chete Michael Reza achitaura izvozvo, delete, ignore. Musatombo, don't even share, right? Because where the power is in the foreign countries to thoroughly investigate money laundering, kubiwa kwemari. Mukaona, this is what I've been focused on. That's why you noticed when you people were voting, where was I? I was in Zambia. On that very day, Reku voter, I was in Zambia exposing money laundering and confronting one of the activists, the gold mafia, who were hiding, participating in hiding this 40 million Amrutora. It's part of 240 million. If you go on the 23rd of August, you will notice I am physically in Lusaka on that afternoon. Ndirikuta target. I was targeting and I was talking to for over an hour. Okay, you see there's a live video. And I confronted a man who is called Harry Kalaba, who is running for presidency in Zambia. He's part of this UKWA so-called opposition party. And I had been talking with Harry Kalaba for over a month. Him having strayed into my conversations, into my work, when he recorded a video and with which he abused the Zambia government coat of arms, the insignia, to falsely claim that the gold mafia disclosures and investigations findings were not findings at all. He claimed that what was said and disclosed, the figures, the 240 million that Hubert Anjo talked about, doesn't even exist. But right now, as you can see, you can now see Hubert Anjo, the video in which he said 240 million. Can you now see the 40 million is what Wicknell Chivayo blew up? Wicknell Chivayo, when Wicknell Chivayo inflated from 8 million to 40 million, he wasn't overspending. According to Mnangagwa, he was in budget. That is the 40 million, part of the 240 million that I chased Harry Kalaba into Lusaka on the 23rd of August. So what am I saying here? When people were voting, that is why I totally ignored the voting. I said that is rubbish. You can vote all you want, but the real power is in the money laundering. The money, because you just need that money. You just need $1,000 to pay one idiot, one violent idiot, to rig elections. That's why I was chasing this 240 million in Zambia on that day, and I physically exposed. What am I saying, Zimbabweans? The power to your future is dismantling the money laundering and ensuring that Moses Mpofu and Mike Chimombe are protected. They must be protected wherever you are. If you live near where these two are, take them into your home, hide them, disguise them, give them protection names, anything. If you can change my IDs, my birth certificate, kuti vave protected, vanhu ava ngavashongedzwe, ngavachengetwe, because ndo vane mavhi11 enyika. Zvimwe zvese izvi hazvina basa izvezvi. Ani muri kunzwisa maZimbabweans, I'm giving you here. Zviri kumeka sense izvi zvandiri kutaura. Ndiri kukupaika makey achona enyika aya. Zviri kureva chi? The crime of money laundering. The crime of money laundering and the crime of rigging elections was done in South Africa. Muri kuninzwa? Iyoyo, right? Saka, and that's where the bank transfer was happened. Saka ma sports ngashitanga, if you can go and visit the DA party, anti mane ma first yenyu, vanhu vekwachamisa, vanhu veblue, makuzote vamu utongi ku South Africa ko. Chitamba naye ikoko ku blue kwenyu ku South Africa ko. Kunoku kuti ngoda ma results. Anditika kana makudzoka ku Zimbabwe, isi tikuda nyika, tikuda makiye nyika, musati nets. Vari ku South Africa uko tambai nevanhu veblue venyu ikokuyi, handitika moshanda navo muensure kuti vapusha kuti money laundering yakaitwa naMnangagwa iyi ngaiputitswe. Even right now zvaachiri ikokuye ku South Africa zvaaenda kuone dzungu ikokuye, muputitsei. Tangai kutodhila naizvo, noise isumudzwe, because South African economy iri kustruggle because of munhu anonzi Mnangagwa iyoyi. Ma-South Africans vari kuluza ma-jobs because of Zimbabweans who are in that country because of money laundering that has been done in that country. Saka sai kokuya ku South Africa ndingopa ma strategies handiti ari simple kai. I think what is really massive is that the disclosures that have already been acknowledged by Zek, by the way, by Zach, sorry, excuse me, right? These disclosures, the elections that they are now investigating are not just the 2023 elections, even the 2018 elections. Vakuma investigator is a money laundering investigation, not as an electoral crime. So when people don't understand, why am I centering on a money laundering? Money laundering can be investigated by any country. Why is it difficult to investigate, right? Election rigging, right? Money laundering police investigations can be opened by any country, even Venezuela, even in Puerto Rico, even Chakuti, even in Madagascar, can open an investigation on Wicknell and Mnangagwa at any time, even though it happened in South Africa or in Zimbabwe. But right now, South Africa actually hosts the data trace of all these monies. Zishifamba, zishidai, zishandiswa. Saka data rapo kaya. Chichimwe chamakuda. Chichimwe chamuri kudai pa. Ndikupai kuti ndokune power iko ku money laundering iko kuwe. Saka Moses Mpofu na make sure vanofana protectwa. If those who pray, those who talk to God better than us, nasi chaicha mfa utopfugama kutonama kuti Mwari chengetedzai Mike Chimombe. Vanoti hanzi fire protect ndo pacha pavofana kutoprotecta Moses Mpofu papa kwete kuswera kuti fire muchita uroi handiti because ndo vane data. Okay. Right. Okay. Hey, I'm feeling there's a lot to share here. There is a lot. And then Mama, and then I still have my video now Wicknell Chivayo. I have quite a lot here. Right. Folks, you might want to laugh because of course these events they're quite hilarious. The events that have just happened right now. But you could also easily slip. This could also slip you. I'm talking about the opportunity could also slip you in the while you're getting excited, because there's a lot of work to be done here, particularly in dealing with what has already been declared as money laundering. I mean, this is not Simba Chikanza, right, who's saying money laundering, and this is not Al Jazeera, which is talking about money laundering. This is ZANU-PF itself saying that there was money laundering there. Money laundering that it did. Kusungirira netambo yao. Right. Yeah. Right. If my device cuts, folks, I will come back. But I'm saying here, this is a lot here that you can go into, you can explore. Unlike, I've just been giving you an overview of this entire sequel that people have been in discussions over in the last. I apologize here. I'm just trying to get one small thing here. Okay, here we go. I was just fixing something here. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that so I was giving you an overview there around the term G, Dakashite G, because some people have supposed that this term is so new, or this is big, this is everything. But I've just been giving our people here evidence that the statements that were uttered by Wicknell Chivayo are not new at all. These are statements regarding a coup that has been done, is being done, and has been done. And these are statements by someone who has truly and confidently captured state power. But what I've just been showing our viewers, readers, and listeners here is that these are statements that have been uttered by Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa himself, who many Zimbabweans were hoping is going to be serious about prosecuting Mr. Wicknell Chivayo. What I've been showing here, date by date, statement by statement, line by line, is a trail that stretches from 1976, 1977 up to 2024, where exactly the same statement has been uttered, not only uttered, but it has been even said, it has been even practiced, excuse me. Mr. Mnangagwa has actually been saying it. Kubva muna 1980. Ndoda kuudzai maZimbabweans. Ndoda kuudzai chimwe chinhu maZimbabweans. Kubva muna 1980. Kuti munhu uyu anonzi Mnangagwa uyu aida kuita coup. Aida kuraya president. Akaudza president kuti indai kuMozambique. Muda kuraiwa nevarungu. Ipapo anga atoronga nevarungu. Kuti indai kuMozambique. Aida kuraya president. My elections apfuura. Apera. Mashero akati, Robert, go back home. Go back home. Say Mashero akashitaura is because Mnangagwa akanga achiti G. Chinhu ichi. Akanga kachiti G. Muna 1980, muna March. Muna 2008, zvekare akataura nemuromo wake iye manje, iye haasi Grace manje akutaura, iye wachakutaura ega muna 2008 kuti ini ndakashanda neCentral Intelligence Minister, ndini ndakatodzosa Central Intelligence Minister akati wakuenderei kwaRusapa. Iye yuyu akashanda neCentral, iye yuyu akanga achiti G, akati president huyai pano baba huyai pano, akapa president ma election results, ma fake election results muna 2008. Mugabe achiziva kuti iye akanga aruza ma elections ne 72% kuna Tsvangirai. Iye akapa president ma election results 40 something percent, 42% or so. Iye yuyu akanga kachiti G. Zvakaitira wa Mugabe muna 2008 ndo zvaitirwa na Wicknell amupa ma fake election results muna 2008 nemuna 2023 achishanda na Central Intelligence Organization Director General na Priscilla Chigumba. Zvakangofanana exactly zvangaitika izvo kubva muna 1980 ndezvekuu izvizvi kubva muna 1980. Ush. I hope it's making sense. So what I'm saying is the difference between what Mnangagwa did in 1980 and what Wicknell has done in 2023 and 2024 is that Wicknell has done election rigging while in a jurisdiction that he can be prosecuted, both him, Priscilla Chigumba, and the CIO Director General, and Mnangagwa himself can be prosecuted in that foreign country for money laundering, because it's now an offense of money laundering. Does that make sense, Zimbabweans? Wave your hand, press the share button, or maybe scream if you can, if it's now starting to tingle in your head what this means. This means that Zimbabweans have likely now reached the eureka moment of something new, unlike what happened zvakaitika muna 1980. Zvakumeka sense? Zvakunzwisisika here chinhu ichichi? Zvakunzwisisika?
morning, members. South Africa has received the money, and they said that they want to start off with payments for the 1 million to Better Brands, which is what we had signed the contract for. Then after the holiday, we've been able to engage them because we had agreed to top 7 days. Marisa zovanetsa money laundering act kuti vaitenge as if vari kumhanya stere kuda kuburitsa mari. So for Easter purposes ndaisa pressure kuti ashama tisire 1 million edi at least timbotanga kumhanya. So as agreed, Scott totora 350, inini 150, Mike 150, Mpofu 150, then Momzo yatoapa 100, DG toapa 100 to make a total of 1 million, and 150 by 4 is 600. Then Scott 200 yake to make 800. Tuweka sawa. 30. Scott takes 350. Posara 650. 650. Mom's on oil 100. Posara 450. 450 to split at 33. 150. Saka mari yese ikaenda 18 million rands account passport. It's a new account yakavhura last month. Inono freeze wo FNB go. So can you send me my bank accounts enyu Mpofu yake Mike yake timboti dzitwe makusina naye idzodzo ma 150 wayo ndisiro yangu. Then the rest we talk next week. Yeah, okay. Can that please send them as soon as possible? Thank you. Asida involvement yana akawanda panyaya yeMpofu. I'm very disappointed. Une dzungu rimwe risingaite. Ana Chief Jose wakunoudza mumwe wako akadai chino nechino. Chief Jose is my best friend from 1992. Ungandidaro shosho kuenda unoshanda naMpofu ndiri stuck zvandakaita izvi ndikuti vanhu vakandikanya panyaya yembudzi vada kuti vari kundithreatena woenda unoshanda naMpofu. I told you let's do this privately, but you are going all over the show saying all sorts of things, all sorts of threats. Hazvipere mushe hatizimboziva kuti simba racho raona rabva rawanda sterek sei. And to be honest, even zvese zvemakambani ako zveprinting zvese, to be honest, I'm not even interested. I want us to finish this next week, topedza, then we shake hands, aziya kwake aziya kwake, because this is pointless. I'm saying we are teaching shamwari. I have an opportunity. Nachifunga kuti uchaita zvematende zvako, waita zvematende mukoto mucontrol ikoko moitawo mari yenyu, munoziva kuti iwe tichakupa yakati. Ndingapindire zvamuri kuita nemapartners enyu amuri kuita ikoko. But then you are causing a big mess. Vanoziva kuti kubroka kana kuti chii kuri kupa that excitement kana kuti disrespect. I don't understand. 2 minutes wafona pa 2 minutes wadai 2 minutes wadai. Why are you involving ana Jose vapinda papi? Why can't you be calm sakamarada? Haana kana zvakutaura na anyone. I'm just disappointed and sorry to say I do zvese zvidaitira kuti I'm no longer interested zvibasa raya because it's not worth my while. Ndakutanga ndakushungurudzwa ndakuthreatenwa every 2 minutes azvipere mushe. Zvakati shamari. I don't work with people who threaten me. Ndoshanda nelove tichiwirirana tichionesana tichikuudza mafacts. I prefer munhu improve your argument. Don't raise your voice at me and this mwana wako. Improve your argument. Taura mafacts. Say apa mutaura chokwadi but no point yangu ndeine apa auri say zvese zvimataura chokwadi tachikumbura mukadai. What do you think otikadai kuti 2 minutes hazvipere mushe. Haina handisi munhu wejambanja. I've lived that life ndikaisiya. Ndiri munhu webusiness. I sit in boardrooms totaurirana zvakanaka and people shake hands. Kanatadza kuwirirana, whoever has the final say makes the decision. If people think that I know this is the last job, they say it's still okay. Hapana problem. We're still friends, you know. It's just disappointing. Anyway, determine my banking details as fast as possible. Thank you.
Hello? Hey, audio famba sema nje mana yanetsa kai?
Ndiano.
Audio yenyu kutendera matenda.
Ndiana tara.
Say Wicknell.
Ndiano.
This much cancer. Muri kuzvifambisa sei kune audio yenyu yematenda iyo? Mabvuma kapo muri kudya mari dzematenda?
Fake news. Na audio ndabonzwana ndikuzolela zvacho.
Audio yekutendera yamuri kutaura iyo kuti you are now closer to number one.
Good morning, members. South Africa has received the money, and they said that they want to start off with payments for the 1 million to Better Brands, which is what we had signed the contract for. Then after the holiday, we've been able to engage them because we had agreed to top 7 days. Marisa zovanetsa money laundering act kuti vaitenge as if vari kumhanya stere kuda kuburitsa mari. Saka for Easter purposes ndaisa pressure kuti ashama tisire 1 million edi at least timbotanga kumhanya. So as agreed, Scott totora 350, inini 150, Mike 150, Mpofu 150, then Momzo yatoapa 100, DG toapa 100 to make a total of 1 million, and 150 by 4 is 600. Then Scott 200 yake to make 800. Tuweka sawa. 30. Scott takes 350. Posara 650. 650. Mom's on oil 100. Posara 450. 450 to split at 33. 150. Saka mari yese ikaenda 18 million rands account passport. It's a new account yakavhura last month. Inono freeze wa FNB go. So can you send me my bank accounts yenyu? Mpofu yake, Mike yake. Timboti dzitwe makusina naye dzodzo ma 150 wayo ndesiro yangu. Then the rest we talk next week. Yeah. Okay. Can that please send them as soon as possible? Thank you. Asida involvement yano akawanda panyaya impofu. I'm very disappointed. Une dzungu rimwe risingaite. Ana Chief Jose wakunoudza, hey, mumwe wako akadai, hey, chino nechino. Hey, Chief Jose is my best friend from 1992. Ungandidaro shosho kuenda unoshanda na Mpofu ndiri stuck zvandakaita izvi ndikuti vanhu vakandikanya panyaya yembudzi vada vari kundithreatena iwe enda unoshanda na Mpofu. I told you, let's do this privately. But you are going all over the show saying all sorts of things, all sorts of threats. Hazvipere mushe. Hatizimbozva kuti simba racho raona rabva rawanda sterek sei. And to be honest, even zvese zvemakambani ako zveprinting zvese, to be honest, I'm not even interested. I want us to finish this next week, topedza, then we shake hands. Aziya kwake, because this is pointless. I'm saying we are teaching shamwari. I have an opportunity. Nachifunga kuti uchaita zvematende zvako, waita zvematende mukoto mucontrol ikoko moitawo mari yenyu munozoti iwe tichakupa yakati. Ndingapindire zvamuri kuita nemapartners enyu amuri kuita ikoko. But then you are causing a big mess. Vanozikana kuti kubroka kana kuti chikuri kupa that excitement kana kuti disrespect. I don't understand. 2 minutes wafona pa 2 minutes wadai. Why are you involving ana Jose wapinda papi? Why can't you be calm, sakamarada? Anakana zvakutaura na anyone. I'm just disappointed and sorry to say I do. I'm no longer interested because it's not worth my while. Ndakutange ndakushungurudzwa ndakuthreatenwa every 2 minutes azvipere mushe. Hey zvakati. Shamari. I don't work with people who threaten me. Ndoshanda nelove. Tichiwirirana, tichionesana. Tichikudza ma-facts. I prefer munhu improve your argument. Don't raise your voice at me and this mwana wako. Improve your argument. Taura ma-facts. Say apa mutaura chokwadi, but no point yangu ndeine. Apa auri say zvese zvemataura chokwadi. Tachikumbura mukadai. What do you think? Otikadai. Kuti 2 minutes azvipere mushe. Haina handisi munhu wejambanja. I've lived that life ndikaisiya. Ndiri munhu webusiness. I sit in boardrooms totaurirana zvakanaka and people shake hands. Kantadza kuwirirana, whoever has the final say makes the decision. If people think that I know this is the last job, they say it's still okay. Hapana problem. We're still friends, you know. It's just disappointing. Anyway, determine my banking details as fast as possible. Thank you.
Hello?
Audio famba sema nje mana yanetsa kai.
Ndiano?
Audio yenyu kutendera matenda.
Ndiana tara.
Say Wicknell.
Ndiano?
Ndisibachikanza. Muri kuzvambisa sei kune audio yenyu matenda yo mabvuma kapo muri kudya mari dzematenda.
Fake news. Now ndiana bonzwa na ndikulela.
Audio yekutendera muri kutaura iyo kuti mimi you are now closer to number 1.
Good morning, members. Good morning, members. South Africa has received the money, and they said that they want to start off with payments for the 1 million to Better Brands, which is what we had signed the contract for. Then after the holiday, we've been able to engage them because we had agreed to top 7 days. Marisa Zovanets and money laundering to as if Manya study without with mari. So for Easter purposes, I say pressure Tashama Tisre 1 million at least Timbotangagu Manya. So as agreed, score total at 350, Inini 150, Mike 150, Mpofu 150, then Mom's were to up 100. DG to up 100 to make a total of 1 million and 150 by 4 is 600. Then Scott 200 yake to make 800. To work as 30. Scott takes 350. Posara 650. 650. Mom's on oil 100 Posara 450 to split at 3 150 Saka Mariasi and 18 million runs per account because it's a new account for last month. No freeze or FNB go. So can you send me my bank account saying mpofu yake Mike yake tumbodi zitwe makusina na hizo zima 150 wa resiro yangu. Then the rest we talk next week. Yeah, okay. Can that please send them as soon as possible? Thank you. As the involvement yana akawanda panyaya impofu. I'm very disappointed. Une dzungu rimwe risingaite. Ana Chief Jose wakunoudza mumwe wako akadai chino nechino. Chief Jose is my best friend from 1992. Ungandidaro shosho kuenda unoshanda na mpofu ndiri stuck zvandakaita izvi ndikuzoti vanhu vakandikanya panyaya yembudzi vada vari kundithreatena uenda unoshanda na mpofu. I told you let's do this privately. But you are going all over the show saying all sorts of things, all sorts of threats. Hazviperemushe. Hatizingozoti simba racho raona rabva rawanda sterek sei. And to be honest, even zvese zvemakambani ako zveprinting zvese, to be honest, I'm not even interested. I want us to finish this next week, topedza, then we shake hands. Because this is pointless. I'm saying we are teaching Shamari, I have an opportunity. Nachifunga kuti uchaita zvematende zvako waita zvematende mukoto mucontrol ikoko moita mari munozoti yoti chakupa yakati ndingapindire zvamuri kuita nemapartners enyu amuri kuita ikoko. But then you are causing a big man. Vanosingana kuti kubroka kana kuti chikuri kupa that excitement kana kuti disrespect. I don't understand. 2 minutes wafona pa 2 minutes wadai 2 minutes wadai. Why are you involving ana Jose wapinda papi? Why can't you be calm sakamarada anangana zvakutaura na anyone? I'm just disappointed and sorry to say I do I'm no longer interested because it's not worth my while. Ndakutanga ndakushungurudzwa ndakuthreatenwa every 2 minutes azvipere mushe. Zvakati shamari. I don't work with people who threaten me. Ndoshanda ne love. Tichiwirirana tichionesana. Tichikudza ma facts. I prefer munano improve your argument. Don't raise your voice at me and this monoko. Improve your argument. Taura ma facts. sei apa mutaura chokwadi but ino point yangu ndeii apa auri sei zvese zvimataura chokwadi tachikumbirawo mukadai apa mukadai what do you think otikadai kuti 2 minutes hazvipere mushe haina handisi munhu wejambanja. I've lived that life ndikaisiya ndiri munhu webusiness. I sit in boardrooms totaurirana zvakanaka and people shake hands. Kanatadza kuwirirana, whoever has the final say makes the decision. If people think that, no, this is the last job, they say it's still okay, hapana problem, we're still friends, you know. Ndakutofonera nemunhu wese, nyaya isiri kutaura nemunhu wese, ndikutaura zvakazoti, it's just disappointing. Anyway, nditumirewo my banking details as fast as possible. Thank you.
Hello?
Audio famba sei manje mana yanetsa kai?
Ndiano?
Audio yenyu kutendera matenda.
Ndiana tara.
Say Wicknell.
Ndiano?
Ndisibachikanza. Muri kuzvifambisa sei kune audio yenyu yematenda iyo mabvuma kapo muri kudya mari dzematenda.
Speakings now they are not bonzwana to the left.
Audio yekutendera yamuri kutaura iyo kuti you are now closer to number 1.
Good morning, members. South Africa has received the money, and they said that they want to start off with payments for the 1 million to Better Brands, which is what we had signed the contract for. Then after the holiday, we've been able to engage them because we had agreed to top 7 days. Marisa zovanetsa money laundering aid kuti vaitenge as if vari kumhanya stere kuda kuburitsa mari. Saka for Easter purposes ndaisa pressure kuti ashama tisirewo 1 million edi at least timbotanga kumhanya. So as agreed, Scott totora 350, inini 150, Mike 150, Mpofu 150, then Momzo yato apa 100, DG to apa 100 to make a total of 1 million. And 150 by 4 is 600. Then Scott 200 yake to make 800. Tuweka save 30. Scott takes 350. Posara 650. 650. Momzana oyo 100. Posara 450. 450 to split 33. 150. Saka mari yese ikaenda 18 million rands account kwa Scott, it's a new account yakavhura last month. Inonofreeze we FNB go. So can you send me my bank accounts yenyu? Mpofu yake, Mike yake, timboti dzitwe mwakusina naye dzodzo ma 150 wayo ndoisirwa yangu. Then the rest we talk next week. Yeah, okay. Can that please send them as soon as possible? Thank you. Asida involvement yano akawanda panyaya yempofu. I'm very disappointed. Une dzungu rimwe risingaite. Ana Chief Jose wakunoudza, mumwe wako akadai, chino. Chief Jose is my best friend from 1992. Ungandidaro shuwa kuenda unoshanda nana Mpofu ndiri stuck zvandakaita izvi ndikuzoti vanhu vakandikanya panyaya yembudzi vada vari kundithreatena woenda unoshanda nana Mpofu. I told you, let's do this privately, but you are going all over the show saying all sorts of things, all sorts of threats. Hazvipere mushe hatizimboziva kuti simba racho raona rabva rawanda sterek sei. And to be honest, even zvese zvemakambani ako zveprinting zvese, to be honest, I'm not even interested. I want us to finish this next week, topedza, then we shake hands, aziya kwake aziya kwake, because this is pointless. I'm saying we are teaching shamwari. I have an opportunity. Nachifunga kuti uchaita zvematende zvako, waita zvematende mukoto mucontrol ikoko moitawo mari yenyu, munozoti iwe tichakupa yakati. Ndingapindire zvamuri kuita nemapartners enyu amuri kuita ikoko. But then you are causing a big mess. Honestly, kana kuti kubroka, kana kuti chikuri kupa that excitement, kana kuti disrespect. I don't understand. 2 minutes wafona pa, 2 minutes wadai, 2 minutes wadai. Why are you involving ana Jose? Wapinda papi? Why can't you be calm, sakamarada? Anakana zvakutaura na anyone. I'm just disappointed. And sorry to say, I do. I'm no longer interested. because it's not worth my while. Ndakutanga ndakushungurudzwa ndakuthreatenwa every 2 minutes azvipere mushe. Hey zvakati hey zvakati shamari. I don't work with people who threaten me. Ndoshanda nelove, tichiwirirana tichionesana, tichikuudza mafacts. I prefer munhu improve your argument. Don't raise your voice at me handisi mwana wako. Improve your argument, taura mafacts. Say apa yemutaura chokwadi but ino point yangu ndeine apa auri say zvese zvemataura chokwadi tachikumbura mukadai apa mukadai. What do you think kuti kadai kuti 2 minutes hazvipere mushe haina handisi munhu wejambanja. I've lived that life ndikaisiya. Ndiri munhu webusiness. I sit in boardrooms totaurirana zvakanaka and people shake hands. Kanatadza kuwirirana, whoever has the final say makes the decision. If people think no, this is the last job, they say it's still okay, hapana problem, we're still friends, you know. It's just disappointing. Anyway, do my banking details as fast as possible. Thank you.
Hello?
Audio famba sema nje mana yanetsa kai.
Ndiano?
Audio yenyu kutendera matenda.
Ndiana tara.
Say Wicknell.
Ndiano?
Ndisibachikanza. Muri kuzvifambisa sei kune audio yenyu matenda yo mabvuma kapo muri kudya mari dzematenda.
Fake news. Now they are not ones who are not doing that.
Audio kutendera muri kutaura iyo kuti you are now closer to number 1.
Good morning, members. South Africa has received the money and they said that they want to start off with payments for the 1 million to Better Brands, which is what we had signed the contract for. Then after the holiday, we've been able to engage them because we had agreed to top 7 days. Marisa zovanetsa nemoney laundering act kuti vaitenge as if vari kumhanya stere kuda kuburitsa mari. Saka for Easter purposes ndaisa pressure kuti ashama tisire 1 million edi at least timbotanga kumhanya. So as agreed, Scott totora 350, inini 150, Mike 150, Mpofu 150, then Momzo yatoapa 100, DG toapa 100 to make a total of 1 million and 150 by 4 is 600. Then Scott 200 yake to make 800. To work as equal 30. Scott takes 350. Posara 650. 650. Momzana oyo 100. Posara 450. 450 to split at 33. 150. Saka mari yese ikaenda 18 million rands account passport. It's a new account yakavhura last month. Inono freeze wa FNB go. So can you send me my bank accounts yenyu? Mpofu yake, Mike yake. Timboti dzitwe makusina na edzo ma 150 wayo ndoisirwa yangu. Then the rest we talk next week. Yeah, okay. Can that please send them as soon as possible? Thank you. Asida involvement yano akawanda panyaya impofu. I'm very disappointed. Une dzungu rimwe risingaite. Ana Chief Jose wakunoudza, hey mumwe wako akadai, hey chino nechino. Hey, Chief Jose is my best friend from 1992. Ungandidaro shuwa kuenda unoshanda na Mpofu ndiri stuck zvandakaita izvi. Ndikudza kuti vanhu ava vakandikanya panyaya yembudzi vada vari kundithreatena. Woenda unoshanda na Mpofu. I told you, let's do this privately. But you are going all over the show saying all sorts of things, all sorts of threats. Hazvipere mushe. Hatizimboziva kuti simba racho raona rabva rawanda sterek sei. And to be honest, even zvese zvemakambani ako zveprinting zvese, to be honest, I'm not even interested. I want us to finish this next week, topedza, then we shake hands, aziya kwake aziya kwake, because this is pointless. I'm saying we are teaching shamwari. I have an opportunity. Nachifunga kuti uchaita zvematende zvako, waita zvematende mukoto mucontrol ikoko moitawo mari yenyu, munozoti iwe tichakupa yakati. Handingapindire zvamuri kuita nemapartners enyu amuri kuita ikoko. But then you are causing a big man. Vanozvi kana kuti kubroka kana kuti chii kuri kupa that excitement kana kuti disrespect. I don't understand. 2 minutes wafona pa 2 minutes wadai 2 minutes wadai. Why are you involving ana Jose vapinda papi? Why can't you be calm sakamarada? Haana kana zvakutaura na anyone. I'm just disappointed and sorry to say I do. I'm no longer interested because it's not worth my while. Every 2 minutes azvipere mushe. Hey zvakati. Shamari, I don't work with people who threaten me. Ndoshanda nelove, tichiwirirana, tichionesana, tichikuudza mafacts. I prefer improve your argument. Don't raise your voice at me and this monoko. Improve your argument. Taura mafacts. Say apa mutaura chokwadi, but no point yangu ndeine apa auri say zvese zvemataura chokwadi, tachikumbura mukadai. What do you think kuti kadai kuti 2 minutes hazviperi mushe. Haina handisi munhu wejambanja. I've lived that life ndikaisiya. Ndiri munhu webusiness. I sit in boardrooms totaurirana zvakanaka and people shake hands. Kana tadza kuwirirana, whoever has the final say makes the decision. If people think that I know this is the last job, right? They say it's still okay. Hapana problem. We're still friends, you know. It's just disappointing. Anyway, do me my banking details as fast as possible. Thank you.
Hello?
Hey, audio famba sema nje mana yanetsa kai.
Ndiano?
Audio yenyu kutendera matenda.
Ndiana tara.
Say Wicknell.
Ndiano?
Ndisimbachkanza. Muri kuzvifambisa sei kune audio yenyu matenda yo, mabvuma kapo muri kudya mari dzematenda.
Fake news. Audio ndabonzwana ndikuzvela.
Audio kutendera muri kutaura iyo kuti you are now closer to number 1.
Hey, Robert. Robert.
Hello, man. What I'm laughing at is what kind of a leader would associate with somebody like that? And now he is the joke of the whole world. One leader, one president. Come on. Start associating with people like that. Who can possibly respect you? But Simba, this is not the first time it has happened. I remember last year in that Al Jazeera documentary, one of the guys called Chwenga, a Dandahead. These are supposed to be the nation's leaders. I mean, when you occupy the office of the president, minister, or deputy minister, you're speaking on behalf of the country. And yet you cannot. No, Simba, this is embarrassing, honestly.
But Robert, what is embarrassing about what Wicknell says?
No, what is embarrassing is that, I mean, corruption itself is bad. When corruption starts involving people at the highest office, that's when you realize, well, this is a country that is in a serious trouble. Because these are the people who are the ones who took the oath of office to respect the law, to work according to the constitution, to represent the people of Zimbabwe, to act in the interest of the nation. How can you tell me they're acting in the interest of the nation when they give away tenders to buy a server, which if you bought on yourself, you pay $6,000 and yet you end up paying $1.2 million. Eh? This is outrageous, man. Really doesn't make any sense. 200 times.
But Robert, this is you saying so. Mnangagwa, have you invested time to want to understand what he is thinking and what he is saying?
Mnangagwa has lost credibility, Simba.
Well, Robert, that's you saying so. What I'm saying is, in Mnangagwa's mind, what is he thinking? Because in Mnangagwa's mind, he's actually gained both credibility and gained the keys of State House through Wicknell Chivayo. Mnangagwa has been given election results by Wicknell Chivayo, working hand in hand with the CIO in exactly the same way that Mnangagwa himself gave Robert Mugabe election results, fake election results in 2008, working hand in hand and empowering the central organization, Didmus Mutasa. Vamutasa inini vanga vatovhara office vati ndakutoenda kwamukwa, ndakutoenda kwaRusape, ndakutosiya basa. Indikabva ndavaudza kuti dzokai, ndikabva ndati president huyai pano, baba huyai pano, namai huyai pano, imi hamuna kuruza ma-elections, mawana 42, shangirai awana 48. So the ZEC server that you are talking about, Wibert, that ZEC server in Mnangagwa's mind, it doesn't cost $4,000. To you, it costs you $4,000. In Mnangagwa's brain, it costs 40 million. In actual fact, Wilbert, I'll give you the figure. It's even higher than that. In Mnangagwa's brain, the server costs 240 million. And you saw it, you heard it on camera. Hubert Angel told you. So if Wicknell had inflated that figure from 8 million, way beyond 40 million to 240 million, it would have still been an achievement, because to Mnangagwa, the money, the figure doesn't matter. It matters to you, Wilbert, but to Mnangagwa, it is the figures that gives him a renewal of the keys to State House. So that's why I asked you, Wilbert. You're saying Mnangagwa has lost credibility. Have you asked him if he has lost credibility? If he thinks that he has lost credibility?
No. If his objective was to win elections by hook or by crook, he achieved it. But the truth of the matter, Simba, is he did achieve it, and even SADC and the AU, without looking at those servers or anything, told him these elections are flawed.
Yeah, but Wilbert,
they are
talking.
More information is coming out to show that those elections were rigged. So his legitimacy is being undermined over and over again.
I will still ask you, Wilbert, have you asked him? Because today he flew into South Africa. He doesn't care how eloquent you are, Wilbert. In his world of books, he has done it. And Wilbert, he has made it.
Oh, yes.
What can you do about it?
Simba, no one is arguing that point. In fact, I'll go even one step further. One of the arguments I've been having with some of my friends on WhatsApp is that very point. By participating, the opposition and also the millions of ordinary Zimbabweans who participated in those flawed elections, they are the ones who gave Mnangagwa legitimacy. Yes, Mnangagwa can say, if SADC wanted to deny me legitimacy as they did in 2008, why didn't they? They did not. And that point is a reality. You and me cannot deny it. SADC did not deny him legitimacy. But the fact of the matter still remains that that whole process was so flawed that it was condemned even by the regional body and the continental body. That is something that did not happen 2018 or 2013. And that he cannot
but it did happen in 2008. And what was the outcome of that? Because akachiti G aka deliver my results in 2008.
2008.
Yes,
No,
in 2008 munanonzi Mnangagwa akachiti G akaunza president akaunza mudzimai wake akati hakuna kwamuri kuenda imi hamuna kuruza ma-elections.
Yes, but SADC
and akaunza CIO minister akamunza akati uri kuenda kurusape kunoitei iwo hausi kugona basa ndinoita inini. And so what he did, exactly what Wicknell has done right now. What is new?
No, Simba, the difference is 2008, Mnangagwa did not get away with it. They were forced to accept the global political agreement because SADC and the AU said those election processes.
Jakazodi. They were still in power. They still controlled the army. They still controlled the police. They still controlled the CIO. And they killed Changirai in courts, right? They actually killed him. And right now, Wilbert, do you know who is Wilbert? Hold on. While we're on 2008, do you know who owns Changirai's house today?
I don't know.
Go and check online. The gate of Changirai's mansion is now the office of Mnangagwa's Mutapa company. That Mutapa company, the Mutapa state enterprise. Wilbert, go and check the pictures. The gate Ra Changirai right now, Imbaya Changirai, it's now branded Mutapa. It's called Mutapa Fund. The Mutapa Fund, this is now the headquarters of Mnangagwa's regional empire. What is in Mnangagwa's mind right now is beyond Zimbabwe. You're still worried about Zimbabwe. Oh, my election results. In Mnangagwa's brain, he runs the entire SADC region. That's why you see right now, hold on, Wilbert, you might not like it. Wicknell travels, he transverses Southern Africa, right up to Tanzania. He meets presidents. He doesn't meet their assistants. He meets presidents. This very same Wicknell Atuma, anaenda ku Zambia. So not ku Zambia, sorry. Anaenda ku Tanzania. Anaenda ku Uganda as well. Who else? Who else does he meet? He goes to Kenya. As far as Kenya is not even in SADC. Kenya is ECOWAS. So where you are thinking that Mnangagwa is lost credibility, in Mnangagwa's mind, what he has actually done is to gain the Mutapa empire through Wicknell, and Wicknell is a strategic emissary. Akachiti G. The same way that he, Mnangagwa, was G on Mugabe in 2008.
Well, no, but Siba, let's get the facts right. In 2008, Mnangagwa did not get away with the rigged elections. That is a fact. The GNU, Mugabe, if there's one thing that Mugabe did not want, it was that GNU. Sharing power with Changirai to Mugabe was the most humiliating thing that ever happened in his 37 years in power. I'm telling you now. And that is a fact.
But I'm going to give up Mugabe. They've given up
Yeah,
power.
no.
The
Nobody's
person,
denying that.
but
Nobody's
the
denying
person angaka shiti G. Ndimunangaba.
that. Hey, but he did get away with it. And this time, he did get away with the rigged elections in 2023. The only problem he has is SADC and the AU condemned those election process. And thus, he has been carrying this illegitimate label all along. And it's not shaking it off. And this issue with Chivayo is only undermining him even further. Because now Chivayo is revealing how some of the rigging was done. This saver, I agree with you, a saver that should cost 6,000, ending up costing 1.2 million. Why? And then you find with some of the people who are being named as having benefited from that process are themselves very important individuals in the election process. That rings too many bells. I think Mnangagwa will find it more and more difficult to continue governing, given all these drip cases of how he rigged the elections. That is a problem for him, and he cannot deny it, and he has got to deal with it. And dealing with it is proving to be easier said than done. We were talking about Chivayo going to Tanzania and so forth. I think with all these stories right now, I can tell you if Wicknell was to go to Tanzania, he would never meet anyone with any holding office in that country, because they would not want to be associated with such a person. So his popularity, he may have been popular before, like our friend Hubert Angel. He was ambassador at large. But right now, I think ever since that Gold Mafia documentary, I'll be surprised if our ambassador at large has been awarded the ambassadorial honors normally accorded to ambassadors wherever he has been going. Because of that, people know him for who he is now. This issue is big. He is not getting away with it. I can rest assure you now.
But how do you see it? How would that be achieved?
Well, for Mnangagwa himself, let's face it, Zimbabwe is a failed state. And one of the reasons why it is a failed state is that we have had a reputation of being a corrupt, incompetent government that has no respect of the rule of law. And by rigging an election, you're only confirming that. And when Mnangagwa took over, one of the things that he was cocksure he would do was to change that culture, to change that perception that Zimbabwe is no longer a pariah state. And his whole mantra of Zimbabwe is open for business was based on the understanding that Zimbabwe has turned a new page. It's no longer a pariah state. Yes, the military coup of 2017, immediately after the coup, he was trying to assure the rest of the world that Zimbabwe is going to be a democratic country. That's why he was promising he will hold free, fair, and credible elections, and he will stamp out corruption. He failed to do both. In fact, many people who really had the brain knew that he was never going to stamp out corruption, much more stop rigging elections. And this is why he expected the floodgate of foreign investors coming to Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is open for business. But in the end, there was not even a trickle. Any investor is shrewd enough to know that Mnangagwa was not going to hold free, fair, and credible elections when he just conducted a coup. There was no way he was going to do that. And his rigging of the 2018 elections confirmed that position. And rigging last year's election only, confirmed the position that this country has not changed. Nobody is going to invest in a country that is so chaotic, where corruption is so rampant. These cases that we are talking about here only goes to underline that weakness, that Zimbabwe is an incredibly corrupt country. There's no rule of law there. Why would you want to invest in a country where there's no rule of law? The infrastructure is collapsing, and yet the ruling elite are spending money as if there's no tomorrow. Look what Chivayo was doing. Buying a fleet of Porsche cars. Why do you need that whole big fleet of Porsche cars for? 400 pairs of shoes, designer shoes. This is a corrupt and incompetent individual who has got so much money, he doesn't even know what to do with it. And meanwhile, the country is in a sorry state. Who would want to invest in a country like that? Mnangagwa it's all wishful thinking. The country is in a mess, and these talks people are reading in the paper that he's having talks with Chamisa and so forth. It's trying to maybe draw attention away from the failed state to say, there's political progress and the two parties can now work together and for the good of the country and so forth. Nobody's going to be fooled by that. Nobody's going to be fooled by Chamisa coming into a GNU with who? Triple C has imploded. So who is Chamisa going to go into GNU with? Himself and his wife and a few others, Triple C leaders around him. That GNU will be even weaker than the last GNU. At least the last GNU in 2008 and 2013 achieved something. This new GNU will accomplish absolutely nothing. He himself has admitted, not me, he has admitted that Triple C is infiltrated by ZANU-PF. So it's going to go into a GNU with Chamisa and ZANU-PF Team B. And you seriously expect that new GNU will implement any meaningful reforms to make sure Zimbabwe is a free, fair, has got free, fair, and credible elections in 2028? No, that's not going to happen.
But Wilbert, quickly, I have something that doesn't seem to connect there, Wilbert, with what you're saying quickly and what is reality at present. You seem to be looking at the Chamisa of 2019 or 2018 with the Chamisa of 2024 Wilbert, the Chamisa of 2024 now has a DA-driven South Africa government and also a different type of SADC, where there's not only South Africa, but there's also now Zambia, right? That would, and in this case, like we're analyzing right now, we have a South Africa that has got a generational and legal international responsibility to address a money laundering wrongdoing that happened in its jurisdiction that's connected to what Chamisa would get as an asset. So, Wilbert, Chamisa of 2019 is now different, isn't it?
No, the Chamisa of 2019, of 1999, and the Chamisa of today are the same. That part of it has not changed, Simba. Chamisa of 1999, the formation of MDC, had the opportunity, together with his friends, Vanatendai Biti, Welshman Nuwe, and David Coulthard, to implement the democratic reforms. That was their number one task. And in the last 24 years, that has been their number one task. And they failed to do so. Do you seriously think the SADC leaders do not know that it was MDC leaders who sold out during the GNU? Of course they know it. More so, DA guys. Even ANC guys knew that MDC guys sold out during the GNU. The only reason why the ANC of the last 20 years changed tack and started supporting ZANU-PF regardless is because they were feeling the heat themselves. ANC was dragging South Africa to the same problem that Zimbabwe has, a failed state, because of corruption, of gross mismanagement. It's not because when the ANC Secretary General was dismissing Chamisa as a Western puppet and so forth, he wasn't doing it not because he believed MDC Triple C leaders were puppets. He was doing it because he was defending ANC's position. If they were going to retain power, they needed to maintain this myth that only those parties or with the liberation war history are fit to govern. That was his motive. But unfortunately for ANC, unfortunately for South Africans, South Africa still had a healthy and functioning democracy. And the people of South Africa were able to say, no, we are going to decide who is going to govern South Africa. We're not going to decide on the basis of who liberated the country. We are going to decide on the basis of who is best to position to serve the best interests of the country. And that is exactly what they did on the 29th of May. That's why the ANC lost its majority. Unfortunately for South Africa, ANC did not have the ability that ZANU-PF had to rig elections and thus retain power. And that is the significant change in South Africa. I don't think the DA-ANC coalition are going to I'm confident they're not going to prop up ZANU-PF. But by the same token, they are not going to be fooled by some of the Triple C, MDC rhetoric either. This issue of Triple C and some of the supporters staging this protest in August, what are they protesting? What? Blaming SADC for your own mistake? SADC is the one that said those elections were flawed. Those elections were illegal. Didn't you know that? Did Chamisa and company not know that? Of course they knew that. They participated out of greed. And now you want to blame SADC. I don't think SADC, particularly the ANC DA government, is going to be fooled by Triple C and their antics. I don't think so, Simba. Forget it. That is not going to happen.
Have you read the comment by Sadzarakana?
Well, okay, my brother, you are not informed well. SADC summit will be very different this time. You are failing to see that the region is changing around ZANU-PF and all the liberation parties. That point I've made. ANC supported ZANU-PF out of this feeling that they can maybe help ANC stay in power the same way ZANU-PF has stayed in power, riding on the credentials that they are the Liberation Party. That has been put to bed now by this last month election. But if you think that SADC, the ANC DA government in South Africa are going to be dancing to some of the almost idiotic arguments by SADC, by MDC, Triple C, you can forget it. That is not going to happen. They are not that naive.
But Wilbert, DA, DA, Ndichamisa Wachoga.
DA is Chamisa?
Yeah.
No.
DA is made up of Zimbabweans.
No. I can tell you now, Simba. DA is. That's one thing they've managed to prove. They are competent and they look at real issues. I think the only reason why DA did not win is that they still have got unfortunately, they carry with them that history that the majority of them are whites.
The very same history that ANC has used to accuse Chamisa of fronting. So the very same weakness that you're saying DA has is the very same thing, the very same weakness that has been used against Chamisa. And the very same people who have been part of Chamisa, by the way, and this population movement, it's arguably larger than Matabeleland. This population of DA members who in 1980, there were 220,000 white Zimbabweans in 1980, which means they are arguably even larger than Matabeleland. And this community is the one that forms DA policy. Do you think that is going to be the same SADC?
Well, the leadership, I would like to believe that DA are pragmatic. And so far, if you look at their track record, they've managed the economy where they've got the power, the West Cape, very, very well. And when it comes to issues, they've been very articulate and to the point. I would like to believe that as much as there may be white Zimbabweans who constitute a significant number of supporters in the DA, they would also have the same mentality of being pragmatic, of being to the point, and not reacting out of, I don't know, blind loyalty. I would like to believe that even in Zimbabwe itself, some of the white supporters of MDC have been disillusioned by that party. They are shrewd enough to know that during the GNU, MDC leaders sold out. That was the golden opportunity to implement meaningful, far-reaching democratic reforms. They failed to implement even one. That is a fact. That is a historic fact. That even those who did not see it at the time, they're shrewd enough to accept it now. Yes, there are some diehards individuals who deny the truth and pretend that the GNU was not about implementing reforms. But those people are the sort of people whom you say to yourself, well, you know, they'll never change anything in life, because life is about accepting reality and dealing with reality, not what you and me would want to hear. Particularly when you're looking at a problem. Don't tell me what I want to hear. I want to know what I should hear. What is there? What is the problem? Define the problem and tell me the solution. Don't tell me what I want to hear. Because that is not helping solving the problem. I don't think the DA, ANC government in South Africa are going to pay attention to some of the overtures from our friends in Triple C. I don't think so. They're too smart to know that Triple C have sold out. They are incompetent. The mentality of some of the Zimbabweans, even some of them in the diaspora, even some of them with university qualifications, professionals in their own right, has been disappointing. Yes, you want to believe that Triple C will change things, but you should not ignore reality. You should not ignore the facts on the ground. But unfortunately, many Zimbabweans have done that. And they've not done the country any favors either. How many Zimbabweans there, I mean, you and me know, we have been following this closely, actually believed Nelson Chamisa last year when he said that he had plugged all the vote rigging loopholes. I think you and me know many out there believed him. And some of them still believe it now, even with the benefit of hindsight. Of course, he had not plugged any vote rigging loopholes. He was lying. But they're not even honest enough to admit it, even now. If you're going to be a leader of a party like 3A and you believe that kind of idiotic claim, then, maybe DA is the party itself is not worth the spit.
But Wilbert, some people will not agree with you because the DA is largely a Zimbabwean political party, largely Zimbabwe centric, largely Chamisa centric, and the very same accusation against them by the ANC is their organic makeup. They are pro-democracy in Zimbabwe, which the ANC has constantly been denying those very same reforms that you talk about, Wilbert, for over 20 years, 24 years. The ANC has been denying those reforms because they have been accusing Chamisa of being funded by the DA. And the very same DA is back.
Oh, but I don't know about the funding, but what I said to you is that ANC has criticized, in fact, criticized MDC Triple C along the same lines as ZANU-PF has done. And that has nothing to do with the reality on the ground. That had everything to do with ANC trying to promote this idea that we must keep ZANU-PF in power at all costs if we're going to stay in power. I don't know whether you had the chance to listen to a video that that Eddie Cross gave with Free Talk a few weeks ago, in which he was saying that Thabo Mbeki asked one of his deputy foreign ministers to investigate what will be the consequences of ZANU-PF losing the elections in Zimbabwe to ANC. And the report came back that if ZANU-PF was to lose elections to MDC and the economy picks up, it will give the South Africans the confidence to say, yes, we also can have a change of government.
Yes.
Forget this issue of this is the party that brought independence, and therefore then we must stick with them. And there is a lot of truth in that, because you don't have to be, it's not rocket science. During the GNU, the economy did improve. Just as much as I can say, even now, at the beginning of this DA-ANC coalition, I think the South African economy is going to improve, because ANC now will know that the days of gross mismanagement and rampant corruption are over. DA is not going to allow that to continue. In fact, DA is in a more powerful position than MDC was in the GNU. But even then, corruption and gross mismanagement during the GNU years did go down. And some of the policies, sound policies, were implemented, not least of which was the issue of scrapping the Zimbabwe dollar and scrapping the price controls. And the economy in 2009 grew by 12% compared to the previous financial year, 2008, where it shrunk by 6%. So the coming in of an MDC government, with even those changes alone, would have improved the economy. And South Africans would have seen that. And of course, they would have wanted change in South Africa. So that report was being blatantly honest. If you want to retain power in ANC to retain power, it either must stop the corruption and gross mismanagement, or it will be kicked out. Particularly if the people can look across the Limpopo and see improvements there. So that point it's not even rocket science. It was clear. And the ANC's commitment from that point was, we must keep ZANU-PF in power at all costs. In fact, the more corrupt and incompetent and the more the Zimbabwe economy goes down the tube, the better for us. Because we will always be seen as, well, we are not as bad as Zimbabwe. So that was clear. But we should not lose sight of the fact that if particularly now the DA-ANC coalition are looking at, we have to improve the economy. We've got to get the South African economy back on track. And they'll be focused on that. And if you think they're going to be sympathetic, or if our friends, the Triple C friends, think that they're going to be sympathetic to Triple C and listen to some of their idiotic arguments, you can forget it. I can tell you now, they are not going to listen to that. DA members, most of leaders, are shrewd enough to know that MDC leaders sold out during the GNU, and they've been participating in these flawed elections out of greed. They're shrewd enough to know that. They're not going to be fooled into pretending that somehow it is SADC's fault. SADC's fault in doing what? All these pressure about, SADC must intervene and hold fresh elections. Why should SADC intervene? They did intervene in 2008 to 2013, and we ignored their advice. MDC failed to implement even one reform. And we, the people, instead of siding with SADC publicly to put pressure on the MDC to implement reforms, at best, we said nothing. At worst, we sided with MDC, blaming SADC. Blaming SADC for what? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think what we are going to see now with the elections in South Africa is a different SADC. I totally agree with that. But it's not going to be a SADC that's going to just play along.
You don't think it's the end one?
No, Simba, I'm telling you, SADC, we'll see in August.
You are still living in 2008, Wilbert. 15 years, 16 years later.
Mm-hmm.
16 years later now.
And what do you think is going to happen now?
Blue is now in charge, Ekai. Mzansi.
Right? And what do you think is going to happen now?
Let's wait and see. Blue is in charge. You saw how SADC for the first time since 2008, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really thoroughly, or to a certain degree, exposed Mnangagwa's election rigging in Zimbabwe, right? And at that time, it was only Zambia, right? That was there. That was a lone voice inside the institution. But now, there's now going to be blue across the Limpopo. But it's not just blue. It is blue that is investigating money laundering. Not money laundering that has happened in Harare. No. Money laundering that has happened here in Pretoria through FNB bank accounts. But not just money laundering happening in FNB accounts. It's money laundering that is funding election rigging. So this is Blue doing more than just dealing with what SADC did in 2023 last year. And by the way, Wilbert, I don't know if you noticed that the Wicknell disclosures, they go beyond 2023. They also touch 2018. They also show that even in 2018, they stole money in order to compromise the figures, in order to deliver fake figures to Mnangagwa, in a G style, the same that Mnangagwa did for Robert Mugabe in 2018.
Well, I can tell you something else that's also going to happen. I think I'm sure you've seen that.
Let's start rounding down.
Yeah, you've seen some of the reports that came out that some Zimbabweans were registering as Mozambique nationals for the purpose of voting in October. If
in Mozambique, yeah, no, that has always been, by the way.
Yeah. Now, if Mnangagwa was going to allow that to happen at a large scale, depends, of course. If it's just a few handful, no one is going to make a big fuss about it. But if it's going to be anything significant, I can tell you now, the DA-ANC government in South Africa is not going to let ZANU-PF get away with it. That is something I can predict now. And I think Mnangagwa must know it. If it was ANC alone, you probably get away with it. But with the new government in South Africa now, he must know that that kind of blatant interference in the democratic process of another country is not going to be tolerated.
Well, Wilbert, we might have to shut. But this is our brief analysis of yours witnesses as we explore what is happening around the Wicknell Chivayo disclosures. This has just been a snap news review, as you want to call it, around the Wicknell whereabouts. Kuti Arikupi. And we are reliably informed Wicknell is now in Mambo Charisi's country. Anze atiza inina ndifunga kuti atizo ininde I believe kuti atiziswa because Wicknell zvinhu zvaaita while it is a crime zvakaita to Mnangagwa it is not a crime. To Mnangagwa akatogona because what he did is exactly what Mnangagwa did himself has been doing since 2008. In fact, since 1980. Wilbert, thank you very much. We've got a minute to shut.
Thank you very much, Simba. And thank you very much to the listeners as well.
The future